What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to the repeat Nintendo Switch and Gaming News video. Already been a busy Wednesday, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Voez for the Nintendo Switch version 1.3 update trailer is live. It adds 25 color Twilight, Promise from Another World, and even more songs to the mix. So Fly High Works has released a trailer for the November 9th due version 1.3 update for the Nintendo Switch version of Voez announced recently. Now the update will add the following 14 songs. I won't go over all of them, but there are a couple bangers in here. 25 Color Twilight, Promise from Another World. You also have Alice in Secret Circus, Imaginary Friends, Snowflakes, Leviathan. I mean, there's a lot of great tracks in here that are pretty cool, and I'm glad that they're continuing to add the support for voice on the Nintendo Switch. The package version is coming to Japan. I'm not sure when that is coming to North America or to the Western territories, or if it even is, but voice is available now worldwide for the Nintendo Switch via the Nintendo eShop. Now in Japan, like I talked about a little bit, the physical edition with controller support will be due out on January 25th, 2018, so there we go. You'll be able to pick that up, and you can probably import as well, but they're going to release that update probably worldwide for controller support. So if you're still on the fence about voice, you can wait till January 2018 and you can have the button support in there, because right now it can only be played in portable mode, and then you also can't play it in TV mode. And I think once that update drops with the box copy, or it might even be available at this point, I'm not 100% sure, but they will add support eventually to be able to play it with a controller in addition to a physical edition and also on your TV. So more support there for voice. It's a fantastic game. I've played the game a bit myself, and shout outs to Universal One for hooking me up with that game. But yeah, man, it's looking pretty good. I'm interested in the retail copy and of course the button control version and the TV mode. I'm interested in that, so we'll see what happens in January 2018 for this title. I think they already announced that this game sold over 40,000 copies in Japan alone on the eShop, so very good when it comes to voice, and they're looking to expand. That's why we're seeing more content coming to the game. That's why we're seeing updates, because the game has sold well. They've definitely made their money back and then some. So what do you guys think about voice on the Nintendo Switch? Have you tried out the game? Do you like titles like this? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, and moving on to the next article here, the Media Create sales charts from October 30th, 2017 through November 5th, 2017 are here. Call of Duty World War II launches at 168,234 units sold, so pretty good. And shout outs to Gematsu for the article here. And the PlayStation 4 version of Call of Duty World War II sold 168,234 units during its first week of release in Japan. The latest Media Create sales figures revealed. In comparison, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare debuted in 2016 at 105,764 sales on the PlayStation 4, and Call of Duty Black Ops 3 launched in 2015 to 164,716 sales across the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. So this was pretty good for Call of Duty in Japan. Now, also new this week was Bandai Namco's .hack GU game collection. .hack GU Last Recode launched for the PlayStation 4 at 61,816 sales, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. And the latest entry in Nintendo's Style Savvy fashion game series, Style Savvy Styling Star, launched at 32,176 sales. Now, neither of the two new releases were able to outsell Super Mario Odyssey, which sold another 168,234 copies following its launch from the previous week. On the hardware front, the Nintendo Switch was once again king, selling 64,387 units. That was down from last week's 126,701 sales brought on by the release of Super Mario Odyssey, but still high and pretty much still had the lottery lines and still sold out nonetheless. The PlayStation 4 family of systems sold 28,823 units, and the Nintendo 3DS family sold 20,856 units. And the PlayStation Vita is pretty much off the map here. Yeah, the PlayStation Vita only sold 3,576 units. So the Nintendo Switch is pretty much dominating in every single area when it comes to Japan. Now, just looking down the list here, we're not going to go over all the games, but Super Mario Odyssey has sold over 578,000 copies in Japan alone in 2 weeks. That is very good, not counting digital. And also, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is still in the top 20, in addition to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Splatoon. all of those games are still in the top 15 or so. Not only that, but Pokken Tournament DX as well. That game has crossed 111,000 units on the Nintendo Switch, so very good. Nintendo is doing good across the board when it comes to things. And I wanted to talk about .hack GU as far as the game collection. It's called Last Recode. Bandai Namco, this is what they're talking about as far as not preparing more and kind of being ashamed that they didn't get more out on the Nintendo Switch. This game, .hack, should have been on the Nintendo Switch in Japan because you have a 5 million install base, you have a game that's really well put together, a lot of great stuff that was done to the game, and this could have came over to Nintendo Switch. You saw Knights of Azure 2, you saw Atelier, you saw Koei Tecmo put together their games as far as their new releases, and this is not like some type of super AAA game or anything like that when it comes to .hack or anything. They could have did it, but they didn't because they underestimated the Nintendo Switch, and now they're kicking themselves probably just a little bit. This game will sell. I'm not saying that it's going to flop, and 61,000 units sold on the PlayStation 4 is not bad, not counting digital. But come on now, this definitely needed to be at least 100K. It would have been 100K if you added in the Nintendo Switch, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Japanese players that are like, you know what, this type of RPG and all that, I want to be able to play that anywhere I want. It seems like a game that would do well on the Vita as far as like a .hack remaster. So the fact that Bandai Namco didn't say, let's try it out on the Nintendo Switch, let's put this game out, you know, that was probably a mistake because only 61,000 units on a 5 million install base in Japan, that's not very good. And if it was on Nintendo Switch, I can guarantee you that those numbers would have been higher. They probably would have sold an additional 50 to 60,000. I think it would have been pretty even as far as the sales go. So they could have had over 120,000 units as far as sales opening week, in my opinion, if they decided to make a Nintendo Switch version. And that's why Bandai Namco is like, man, you know what, like we should have, you know, we probably should have done that, because games like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Pokken Tournament, other Bandai Namco games are selling just as well as this one here on a smaller install base, and it's not an RPG, we're talking about fighting games here. So what do you guys think about all of this as far as the sales go? Nintendo Switch is dominating once again, another 64,000 units plus when it comes to system sales. Very good as far as Japan goes. Obviously the stock kind of petered out just a little bit after the release of Super Mario Odyssey, but still 64,000 is still one of the higher totals Nintendo has had as far as the Nintendo Switch goes, especially after a big game. So we're going to see those sales numbers stay constantly above 50,000, 40,000 like I said, and we should be heading into a great holiday season for the Nintendo Switch. November is big as well. I think Resident Evil Revelations, the collection, that's probably going to be a big seller or a good seller in Japan as far as Japanese sales go, and then heading into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well. That's going to do very well on the Nintendo Switch in Japan as well. So what do you guys think about these sales here when it comes to it as far as Bandai Namco, .hack, the Nintendo Switch? Let me know in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the last article here, Square Enix talks about unannounced titles in addition to aggressively pursuing Nintendo Switch titles when it comes to games and multi-platform development as well. No IPs are off the table at this point. So let's go ahead and get into what Square Enix had to say on the matter. So sharp, powerful, and well-made titles being prepared for E3 2018 as well. So Square Enix shared some new information about unannounced titles and its thoughts on the Nintendo Switch during the latest financial results briefing. The company plans to launch currently unannounced smartphone titles in the second half of the fiscal year, and the next fiscal year it plans to launch big overseas titles which are being prepared for E3 2018 and are described as sharp, powerful, and well-made. Square Enix describes the core architectures of PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch as similar, which is interesting. All of those are similar, and says multi-platform development is possible by building a basic version of the game, then optimizing for each platform, something that a lot of people should understand. Now, the company reports being told by overseas retailers and publishers that the Nintendo Switch is selling extremely well and recognizes that momentum. It says that Nintendo is doing well is great for them, and notes that the Nintendo Switch is in a unique position compared to the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One because it has complete universal worldwide appeal in terms of sales, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. Now, the Nintendo Switch is described as an opportunity to create middle-range games, and while it is very likely that creating these games will result in them being multi-platform, their expectations for the Nintendo Switch are high, and they will aggressively pursue development. Square Enix said that it will not rule out any IP, new, existing, or revivals when it comes to Nintendo Switch, finally, here is a sales numbers update. So Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age has sold more than 3 million units. Nier has sold more than 2 million units, and Final Fantasy 15 is nearing 6.6 million units as well. So let's talk about this, because this is big news for Nintendo and for Square Enix and for Nintendo Switch fans, because this is exactly what we've wanted for more than a decade when it comes to Square Enix, to treat Nintendo fans the same as they treat other fans out there. And we'll see if it happens, but some of the stuff that they said in here definitely points towards that. They said that, hey, we can make multi-platform games, like all the architectures are somewhat similar, we just need to optimize for each platform. So we just build our base game and then we just port over to each platform when it comes to PS4, Xbox One, PC, Nintendo Switch, whatever the case is. And another thing that was very important is that they said that the Nintendo Switch is in a unique position because the Xbox One is flopping in Japan. Obviously, it's not going to do well there. So it really only sells here in America, Western territories. The PlayStation 4, while it's doing very good across the world, Japan has been weak compared to Nintendo Switch. However, with the Nintendo Switch, you have balanced sales across the world. It sells really well in Japan, it sells really well here in America, and it sells good in Europe. So that's the position that's unique for them. You have a system that's literally selling really well in all of the major markets compared to the other two systems, which either it's only in North America or really good in Europe and America and somewhat weak in Japan. The Nintendo Switch is the most balanced, selling really well in both territories as far as for Square Enix, major territories, Japan, in addition to America, and selling well enough in Europe. So that's the unique position that they're talking about. In addition to that, the momentum, that's the unique position as well, like driving momentum with the system. So that's the reason why Square Enix is really saying, hey, we're going to aggressively pursue titles when it comes to multi-platform, even when it comes to middle range games. So this is something that I love to see. Square Enix, they were on board because Nintendo's money was kind of there and they knew that it could possibly be good, but obviously there were some holes when it comes to the lineup and stuff. I would really love to see them finally say, you know what, Final Fantasy, mainline Final Fantasy games can be on Nintendo platforms. Like, this is something that has kind of like grinded my gears for quite a while, to where Xbox gets Final Fantasy, but for some reason Nintendo fans don't deserve a real version of Final Fantasy, or they get some type of weird spin-off of Final Fantasy, My Life as a Dark Lord or something like that. Like, it's time for Nintendo fans to also get Final Fantasy as well and watch the sales tally up, because I can guarantee you if Final Fantasy was released on all platforms at the same time, the Nintendo Switch version would sell better than the Xbox One version and wouldn't be too far off from the PlayStation 4 version. So they're saying that all the architectures are similar enough to where they can build a base platform, then they can port and optimize to each one. Then make it happen. Let's see Final Fantasy, not necessarily Final Fantasy 15. That debacle is done with. Not going to be talking about that anymore. But I'm talking about going forward in the future. Let's just see some more effort when it comes to that. And now we are seeing some stuff. Obviously, Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age is coming to Nintendo Switch. I think it's going to be fully optimized and run well. So we'll see what happens in the future. But I'm very happy that a lot of these Japanese companies are pretty much coming out to their financial investor meetings and saying, you know what? We're going to really support the Switch. We're going to get games out on there. You're going to see our stuff. So shout outs to them, and I can't wait to see what's in the future from Square Enix. Alright, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us out. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live sponsorship page and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to live stream tournaments, Discord voice chat, and so much more. So check out the links in the description below. Consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next video. Peace.